What up, y'all? In this video, I want to talk about, I guess, how women, are looking for a man to essentially be like a container for their emotions. Um, so a lot of women, or women, how they kind of are is that they, if they act emotional, they want you to be stoic and calm. Um, and that will almost, allow them to understand that you are not stressed about their emotions, right? And then they will calm down by watching that in you, right? So that's why, you can't always trust the way that women either feel things, or you can't necessarily trust the way that they make decisions, because at least when they're attracted to a guy, right? If they're at work, I mean, that's a different story. They're going to be thinking more logically. But I believe, if a woman's attracted to a guy, there's a part of her that is either going to have certain emotions around him or make certain decisions that it's almost like it's intentionally, she knows that it's not the right way to feel or right way to make a decision, right? And the reason that they do this is that why they kind of think half logically and half emotionally, where they around a man that they like, they do that intentionally, is because they want to see if the man can contain her anxiety, her fears. They want to see if the man can softly redirect her poor decisions with wisdom. So that's why you don't necessarily want to ever you don't necessarily want to allow a woman to just take over in a relationship, because 50% of them is going to think logically, and they're going to intentionally use the rest of the 50% of themselves, essentially to rest illogical emotions on you, right? And it's not that they can't think logically, because I'm not here saying women are stupid. It's just, I believe that it's almost like they get a high or a sense of safety out of um, just either randomly generating emotions, and just letting you deal with it, randomly generating this hodgepodge of emotions and just allowing you to deal with it, um, or maybe it's not random, maybe it is triggered by some part of something going on in their life, but they don't they don't really, a lot of the time women don't really feel responsible for giving you something that makes sense, right? Like, they might word something to you in a way that doesn't make sense, and they don't feel responsible for it, right? They feel like it's your job to sort through the mess that they give you, right? Like, I'll give you an example. One time, there was this one girl that I used to reach out to get her attention, right? Or to get her to message back. Sometimes it would take months. I'd have to message her three times, and it might take like 2 months for her to respond. I just liked her, and it wasn't like I was simping, chasing her. It's just, I just liked her. And after like months of her not responding, I remember she responded to me at night, and I just went to sleep. I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna respond to this in the morning. She spent months to respond to me, so I'm gonna take 10 hours or whatever, 12 hours. And then I responded in the morning, and then she messages back, look, you had all evening to text me. If you don't want to hang out with me, don't. This isn't fun anymore, goodbye, or whatever. So she's just giving me this illogical mess, basically. She's not, but it's like she doesn't have any responsibility, you know, take any responsibility for it. She thinks that I'm responsible. And women know not to do this. If they wouldn't do that to their boss, right? They wouldn't do that to a company that they wanted to get into contact with to get a job from. Like, they know not to do this, but it's like they do it just to see if you can handle it. So if you get a good woman, she's not going to do this as much. I think all women do it to an extent, but A good woman is gonna do it less. They're not gonna give you these. They're not gonna. It's not gonna. They're not gonna test you in ways that are gonna completely derail your peace and derail your life mission, right? Because a good woman knows she cannot take you too far off track of your mission without it be. That's pretty much just immoral. You know, you don't want to mess up a man's mission by distracting him and taking him off his path of peace too much. A good woman will know not to do that, right? But the whole thing is just, illogical. So she tells me at the end of that text, goodbye, but that wasn't goodbye. I texted her like whatever later, and she ended up getting back to me, so she's saying goodbye, but it's like, it's not even goodbye. She wasn't even planning on leaving, it's just, they're gonna give you this, it's random, because they don't care. It's like if you were trying to test if a water bottle works, right? Like, that's really what they want you to do. They want you to be the container for their emotions, to be able to hold their emotions together. It's like if you wanted to test out a water bottle, which is a container, right? You don't care what you throw into it. You might throw a little bit of water in it, then you might spit in it, and then put some orange juice, and then put some gasoline. It doesn't matter what you put into it. You just need to know that water bottle doesn't have a leak, right? And that's kind of how women are. They're just gonna throw you this random hodgepodge of emotions and see if you can be calm about it. And the thing is that it's tricky because, there's the few different, what do they call them? Fight, flight, freeze, right? And you don't want to do any of those things. Like, that's the temptation, right? You either want to fight, that's when a woman gives you something random, you want to argue, and say, oh my gosh, this is BS, this is annoying. Or you want to flee, run away from the conversation or whatever and just leave her. Or you want to freeze, which is like you start panicking. But the trick is that you don't want to do any three of those things. You rather want to use calming and de-escalation to redirect the situation, So I could have responded to that girl, I could have responded to her, hey, look, hope your day was well, let's talk soon, right? So it's like, I didn't even, like, in that sense, if I respond like that, I'm not fighting her, I'm not fleeing, and I'm not freezing, right? I'm taking a route out of that. And that's not always easy to teach how to do, but it's almost like that, where it's like, you can't fight, flight, freeze. You gotta just be calm and skip all of that. You gotta take another route that kind of calms her down and maybe is positive, and it's not overreactive. You're not gonna name call. You're not gonna panic either. Like, it's complicated. It's complicated. And a good woman will know not to do this too much. If they do it too much, there's probably a problem, And that, I mean, to a really bad extent, they might have borderline personality disorder. And I've even, researched borderline personality disorder, and it even talks about that, how those people with borderline, they're looking for a man who can contain all of their emotions and stuff like that. But all women do that to some extent, I think. And sometimes, that really may be like the final decision of how things go, is really based off of whether you can contain your emotions. So let's say a girl says, oh, I just see you as a friend, right? She wants to friend zone you. Yes, it could be possible that she just wants to be your friend, but it's also possible that she has a fear of jumping into a relationship, and she just needs to know that you can contain that. You can actually handle her telling you that, so that she feels safe, right? Because when a woman says something, maybe rejects you or whatever, that often, I believe, can just be her, she's having a fear, and she needs to know that you can, like, she's allowing you to make the decision for her, but first she has to give you the negative version of that decision, right? So if she says, oh, I just want to be friends, you know, you don't want to, you want to contain the emotion. So don't go, oh, okay, oh, well, blah, blah, blah. You know, you could be like, I'm enjoying getting to know you, and let's just keep this going. You know, like, so then you didn't fight. You didn't be like, what the fuck? Or, excuse me, like, what the hell? Like, you know, you didn't freeze. You weren't like, you know, oh my gosh, like, I don't know what to do. And then you didn't, like, give in to defeat either. Like, oh, dang it, we can only be friends. You know, you just contained it, right? You contained it, her emotion, because anytime a woman just wants to be fearful or negative, sometimes she's just looking for you to be able to contain that emotion, contain her fear, and then just keep moving forward, like slow, like smoothly shift it and just keep moving forward, right? So yeah, that's why if a woman ever acts a certain way, don't always take it at face value. Like, you don't know what is going on. Like, there's something going on under the surface. They're anxious, they're blah 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 blah, and sometimes you just gotta let it happen. Sometimes the best way to contain it is just let it happen, right? Like, let her go 2 weeks without texting you. Just let her do what she wants to do for however long it takes for that emotion to roll over, and for however long for her to feel safe or whatever. So it's kind of a complicated video, but I think it's a big one. You know, women don't make decisions in relation to who they're attracted to in the same way that they will make a decision at work, right? If they're at work, they're going to be acting logical. But when they're with a man, they don't really care if they act logical, because they feel like it's your job to deal with it, you know, like, yeah. So if they end up not acting logical, it's probably somewhat intentional, or at least subconscious. They're looking for a way to be safe. And a good woman doesn't just be like, oh, well, my man better handle me in this chaos. A good woman will first try to decrease her own chaos that she gives to a man, and then she will look for a man who can handle chaos well. But she's going to be looking to help that on both ends, trying to decrease her own chaos and looking for a man that can handle hers. So then it's the you know, you meet each other halfway, basically. All right, look for that type of girl. Okay, peace out.